And in fact, don't normally see your face either. So this is kind of novel in that respect. So I did ask you ahead of today's chat, fireside chat. It's no pressure, nice and relaxed. And I think the more I say it's relaxed, the less relaxed it feels. So welcome, Geoff, to our first A Slice of Dice interview of 2023, the first of the second batch of interviews. I'm hoping to get some more done pretty soon. But this is an interesting one, actually, because compared to the ones I've done already, are all people that I've met in person. You're the first one who actually gamed together for a while. And we've shared quite a few memories together in games, but we haven't actually physically met before. So in fact, don't normally see your face either. So this is kind of novel in that respect. But I did say beforehand about if you were to meet me in person, for this hangout, what would be your sort of ideal slice that you'd bring to a slice of dice?
Well, as you undoubtedly know, every neighborhood in every city across the world has that one little out-of-the-way place, that little pizza place that everyone is talking about. And like where I live in Canada is no different. The place I'm thinking of is called Mr. B's Pizza and Chicken. And my wife and I order from them like all the time, and we're never disappointed. I don't actually have a piece, but I do have the menu.
Hey.
So it's just one of those little out of the way places that makes the best pizza in the whole world.
Mr. B's Chicken and Pizza. I mean, we don't have a sponsorship deal from them here at Slice and Dice, but there you go.
It's free advertising.
Yeah, exactly. And how often would you say you buy from Mr. B's Chicken and Pizza?
Oh, probably at least once a month.
So is it like
sometimes a little bit more often? Right. Yeah.
And out of all of the slices that you could pick, which one would you recommend?
Well, I prefer the Meat Lovers Pizza. It has pepperoni and ground beef and ham and bacon and you name it, it's on there.
Oh, you're gonna get all the meats. I'm totally with you on this. It's funny.
It's a very good pizza, yeah.
It's funny because some of my best friends who we play a D&D game maybe once every month or 2 months or something, but usually we end up ordering pizza, and it is from one particular place, or at least it used to be. But there was always the discussion about pizza because most of us, two of us are including me, are very much in agreement. All the meats, all the way. Like, if you're going to get pizza, you're going to go hard. Like, there's no faffing about with, a little bit here, a little bit there. No, everything. And then inevitably it leads on to the discussion of fruit on pizzas, because somebody always wants the Hawaiian pizza. I won't.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you stand on this very important debate?
Well, the thing is I like pineapple, like just raw pineapple in a dish or something. But as soon as you cook it on a pizza, it's like, no, not into
that. So if you see a pizza with pineapple on, like, it doesn't matter what else is on it, you're just not going near that pizza, or you're gonna,
that's right, yeah.
Away. See,
it's like, what else do you have?
It feels like it's like I didn't realize it was quite as divisive until I started seeing it cropping up on various like social platforms as like a conversation starter or whatever. Pineapple on pizza. Like, I feel like it's like the Marmite of the pizza world. I don't know, do you have Marmite over in Canada? Excuse my ignorance.
No, it is that.
It's I think the off-brand stuff describe it as a yeast extract spread.
Oh, okay. Sort of like what the Australians have Vegemite.
It's like Vegemite, yes.
Okay.
In fact, I think it's the same. I think it's just different brand.
Oh, okay.
Possibly. If for the purists, I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but I think they're the same. But yes, there's a whole marketing thing over here with that. With you either love it or you hate it. With
right.
Marmite, and there's no like in between. And I feel like pineapple, it seems to be that kind of divisive issue. Although I'm just like with Marmite, with pineapple, I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. I would prefer other things perhaps, but I will eat it if it's there. Sitting on the pizza
I
fence. Now,
I tried Vegemite once and I regretted it. So
so yeah. So not surprising then. In this Venn diagram of pineapple on pizza and Vegemite, that you're in the I hate both.
that's
Cool.
great.
I didn't realize that was where the conversation was going. But that's one of the lovely things about opening up with food is that it can lead to all kinds of different
That's
directions.
right. Yeah.
Excellent. I know that you've been doing TTRPGs for quite a while.
Hmm.
I gather. In fact, with one particular character who I adventure alongside regularly since 1979, I think you said.
That's correct. Yes.
So, what was your first experience of TTRPGs? How did you sort of get into the hobby?
Well, I have to admit, I'm an older guy. I turned 55 this year, and when I was 11 years old, 1979, my older brother, brought home the original box set of Dungeons and Dragons. That's the one with the dragon on the cover with the wizard and the fighter. And he introduced it to me, and I was hooked ever since. And the very first character I rolled up was one of the pre-generated characters in the back of the rule manual, Nora the Barbarian. And I just fell in love with everything. So I've been using Nora on and off for ever since then. I think this is about his third or fourth major version of him that I've been using. And I just fell in love with the whole idea behind Dungeons and Dragons and that character in specific. So he's sort of my go-to.
Okay, and so so your first experience of TTRPGs in general was first edition Dungeons and Dragons. Is that correct?
This goes back even before Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This was like kind of basic,
Oh,
like the original basic rules. And then as my brother and my cousins, then we all sort of played together. We did sort of graduate to Advanced Dungeons and Dragons with the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Player's Handbook and Monster Manual to begin with. And played with my cousins and my brother, and we just kind of went from there.
so was it your brother who introduced you to it?
That's correct. Yeah.
And so how old was your brother when he brought Dungeons and Dragons over to you?
He would have been in probably high school at the time. He's like 6 years older than me, so.
Okay. Okay, so he just turned up with this one day, or he'd been playing for a while and was looking for somebody to play with, or how did that come
Yeah,
about?
pretty much, yeah. I'm not quite sure how he got involved in it, but he introduced me, and it's, the rest is history.
So your very first experience of Dungeons and Dragons, you had this one character, Norrin the Barbarian, at the time,
Right. Yeah.
and that has evolved over the years. How has he changed since when you were first sort of given the pre-gen and to now? Because that's a long amount, that's a big amount of time. Without wanting to highlight too much because you're looking great for 55, but that's 44 years that you've
That's right, yeah.
that character's been in your life. So talk us through that, how he's changed over time.
Well, with that amount of time, I've had a little bit more opportunity to explore different aspects of his personality, I guess you could say. What his goals and dreams are. Then when the Forgotten Realms first was published in, I think, the mid 80s, I got into that and decided, oh, let's write a history for him, where he's from and what he's going to be doing and stuff like that. I decided to make him from the Moonshae Isles. He's a Northman, and his father was a Northman, and his mother was of the folk, and he's kind of orphaned at a young age and grew up in Waterdeep. His mother was a housekeeper at a tavern. Pretty, as a well-known bard once said, he comes from humble beginnings.
I'll take that. Thank you. That's a nod to my character in the campaign we're both playing in currently. For those who don't already know, of course.
But yeah, it's just kind of different aspects of his life and what he does and where he wants to go. And this is like he just turned ninth level, and this is as far as I've ever taken him in any of the games I've played. So I really am anxious to see how far I can go with him.
I think in some ways, one of the nice things, and this might sound like a backhanded compliment, but from what I understand with Norrin, looking at mechanically speaking, you've described him yourself as a vanilla fighter. He's I think the champion subclass, right? Which is which gives you some cool stuff, but it's fairly passive. The stuff that it gives you, there's not like the fancy maneuvers like you get in Battlemaster and things like that. And in some ways, that's been really nice because it's meant that the focus then has been more on the role play aspect and developing the character outside of the mechanics. And so it gives you it seems to be a nice base to work off of because you don't have to think too much about the mechanical side of it. Was that sort of was that a conscious choice when you chose to go down that subclass, that route with him, or was it more just that resembled more what you'd played already?
Yeah, well, when I first started playing in Simon's game, it was a first edition game, and I had no experience at all with fifth edition. So I kind of channeled Norn along those lines with Simon's input. It's like, well, here's what you can do with him, and let's see where we can go. And with him being kind of the leader of the group and becoming a knight and a baron, having the champion subclass really suits him quite well, I think.
And you gotta love getting a natural 19 and it still counts as a crit. That's
yeah,
a lovely little thing. So outside of Dungeons and Dragons, so that was kind of the gateway for you into this fantasy sort of stuff, or at least certainly tabletop role-playing games. Have you, and you've said you've gone through different iterations of D&D, but have you experienced other TTRPGs after that? Have you dipped your toe in other areas?
Yeah, a little bit. When when I was in high school, and my brother, like I said, he was older, and he had joined the university wargaming club, so I would go down to university with him on the weekends and hang around with those guys. And we've played a lot of Rollmaster, some Palladium, some GURPS, just whatever suited their fancy at any moment. A lot of war games, Starfleet Battles. I played hours and hours and hours of that. So yeah, a little bit of everything.
Excellent. And do you think now, obviously, with the recent, shall we say, controversy surrounding Dungeons and Dragons, the IP, with stuff going on with their corporate owners and whatnot, do you think that some of these other systems that like you've tried over the years, I noted GURPS because that's one I've been looking at as well. Do you think that that there may be some sort of resurgence of some of these other systems, or at least an increase of playership in some of these other TTRPGs going forward?
I think there will be, yeah. I'm another group that we played with online there. We're starting to play around a little bit with Pathfinder, and so I've never played that before, so that's going to be interesting. It's a lot like D&D, and there's I think that some of these newer or some of the less well-known systems will become a little bit more popular as people not too happy with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. So they'll be moving away from that and looking for other avenues to explore.
And how do you just I guess lastly on that, with people moving into other systems and things like that, do you think that's overall would be a good thing, or not so much?
I think it would be a good thing because then it'll, like for example, like back in the day when I was like just starting the game, Judges Guild Journal was really popular, but it kind of petered off a little bit. But now with this kind of thing going on, it's going to be things like that will be coming back. I think. And people start noticing like some of these smaller press gaming supplements and publishers and things like that. So I think it'll be good for the industry overall.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess the community with that, because it's. I guess I didn't realize quite how powerful the community voice was in this sphere until obviously recent events. But it's a lovely thing to see when the community can all get together and make a difference, and and whatnot. But that's probably subject for an entirely different discussion. Because, really, we're talking about you and your experiences in TTRPG. And I've just taken the spotlight away, and then I've put it straight back on you, Geoff. Sorry about that. Has TTRPGs influenced other areas of your life? How have you noticed any sort of influences it's had on your life, whether that's development of skills or development of friendship groups or any other sort of area of your life?
Well, when I was in college myself, I joined up with a bunch of guys that were really into Star Trek, and so I was going to the Star Trek conventions and all that. I'm not into that anymore, but through that and going to science fiction conventions, I met up with some other guys that were into the Society for Creative Anachronisms, and through them, I actually learned how to make chainmail. So it's kind of a unique skill, I would say. Yeah, and I would go to like Halloween parties and all that, dressed in fairly authentic looking like 13th century armor, and turned a lot of heads. And it's like most gamers, I'm a bit of an introvert, but doing the role playing has also helped me get out of that a little bit, because playing a character that's a different type of personality than my own gives me a little bit more of an outlet to explore the different parts of like the human psyche.
Well, that's great, and I mean, 100% agree in all of that you've just mentioned in that aspect. I think it can be, like you say, a lot of gamers tend to lean more towards being introverted, but this is a social game as well. You have to sit around a table, I say in quotation marks, because obviously we sit around a virtual table together,
right?
But still there's the interaction and the chatter and stuff, and I think it sounds like it has helped you come out of your shell, I guess, from being introverted
a little bit, yeah,
which is excellent. So out of all of the games that you've played over this time period, can you share with us your most memorable moment?
Oh boy, that's a difficult question because there's just so many of them. I would say when we finally killed that black dragon in the caverns beneath Kundrakar. That was a pretty nasty fight, and Nora was very proud that he was the one who actually put the slaying sword into the dragon, and it was quite something.
So what was it that made it so climactic and intense? What was going on? Describe the scene for us, if you could.
Well, we were reclaiming the caverns of Kundrakar there, and we stopped before we went in there. We made a plan, and we actually followed through with it. Everyone did, what they were supposed to do, and we all came together as a team. For once, how hard that is, and it was very dramatic, and Simon the DM just painted the scene perfectly, and we did exactly what was required to come out, and we didn't lose anyone in the fight either.
Oh, excellent. So a properly coordinated plan that survived contact with the enemy. That's.
Yeah,
Did you have your A
that's
team
pretty
moment?
rare.
You have pull out the big cigar and go, I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, just about, yeah. And yeah, like after 40 years, there's like so many situations like that like, you go home at the end of the session and you're all pumped up on adrenaline. Yeah, we finally won, type of thing. So yeah, there's quite a few of those.
Yeah, definitely, and it's always great when that happens. And you've got Norrin has a memento now. Of course, he has the dragon's head mounted.
Yeah, that's his trophy.
Got 2 dragon heads up there so far, but the question is, will there be any more in the future? I guess we'll find out.
Oh, I'd love to have him one of every color up there.
Yes, definitely. Obviously, we talked a lot about Norrin, and I've given passing reference to other characters that you have played as well. But is there a favourite character concept that you've actually never been able to play or haven't played yet that you would like to?
Well, there is one. It's an NPC I have in one of my games that you've actually encountered, and that's Captain Alizar Firekiss. She's she's a female half orc assassin that I don't think I would be allowed to play her in other games. So she exists only as an NPC in my own game. She's very much a type A personality, in your face. She doesn't apologize for anything because she's always right. When she walks into the room, she owns that room. And very ambitious and very, go get them type of thing. So, and if I play her the way I designed her in someone else's game, I'd probably get kicked out.
And so, what particularly appeals about this character, Alizar, and how you've put her together? What was the sort of the inspiration, if you like, behind it?
Well, when I was designing the Pirate Isles, that's the campaign I run, I needed a council of captains. At the top, there's the Grand Admiral. He's in charge of everything, but he has his council of captains. So I was just going through and just creating NPCs to populate this council. And each one has a different personality, and she is the one at the bottom, but she wants to be at the top. So that's why I made her very, very ambitious and very, very non-apologetic for what she says and does. And going back to exploring different types of personalities, she's kind of the opposite of what I am in real life. Like I'm just one of those people, just put me in the corner, leave me alone. But she's definitely not that. So playing her as an NPC gives me the opportunity to explore that part of the human personality.
Oh, which as an actor myself, I can totally get the appeal behind that of being able to explore somebody who isn't you for a while. Just take a walk in somebody else's shoes, even if that person or creature has been created by you. It doesn't matter. Still a fun and sometimes cathartic experience, I imagine. But I look forward to spending. Oh, I say look forward to. Out of character, I look forward to spending more time with Alizar. In character, the character in that game, the chef, is pretty grumpy as well, like a grumpy bugbear. Again, a character I've always wanted to play, a grumpy bugbear type that's kind of like Chewbacca but grumpy and can speak. So I look forward to seeing more of that anyway. The one thing I forgot to tell you to prepare, Geoff, but I know that as this is where you usually game as well, that your supplies of D&D stuff cannot be too far away.
Right.
Finally, I have the random question chart. So
okay.
I'd like you to roll a D20, and I will read a question that corresponds to what you roll.
Okay, well, fortunately, I did come prepared because I watched some of the other chats, and I have one right here.
Excellent. If you didn't, not a problem. We could stop. I could stop the recording and then start it again when you get back. Anyway, I'm glad you got it. Okay, take it away.
Okay. 16.
16. Okay. Okay, this is an oddly specific question. What is the non-standard skill or tool set you've been most successful at using in a game?
Oh my goodness. Probably like a gambling type of skill. I mean, I'm not a gambler myself, but I've played characters who were, and yeah, I've probably lost more money, like more D&D money, than I've gained while doing that.
And to be fair, probably earned more D&D money in one sitting than possibly ever in real life. That's certainly the case for me, anyway.
That's right. Yeah. My wife and I like going to Las Vegas every so often, but we're non-gamblers because we know better.
Yes, I think bitter experience can be a great teacher in that respect. Yeah. So just to clarify then, you're saying that the non-standard skill or tool set you've been most successful at using in a game is a gambling set, and you haven't actually been that successful using it.
That's right. Everything else I've tried just kind of failed miserably.
Oh, no. Brilliant. Okay, so if gambling in real life wasn't enough of a deterrent, doing it in D&D certainly has been.
I'd rather lose imaginary money than real money.
100%. I agree. Yeah, 100%. Okay, well, Geoff, thank you so much. That is everything, I think, for the Fireside Chat. Everything covered today. I hope all's going well over the pond, as it were, in your side of the world. And it's been great to it's been great to speak to you and also see you. I know that sounds weird, but it's been great to actually see you. So yes, thank you very much for logging on today.
Well, thanks for having me, Jack. It was great to be here.
Thank you very much. Not a problem at all. And I will look forward to chatting with you again on Discord, no doubt, very soon. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of A Slice and Dice. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We really do appreciate your support. And of course, if you'd like to get involved in any future interviews, whether that's being a guest yourself or suggesting some options for our random question chart, join us on our Discord server. There should be a link to that down below.